All right, he's going live, guys.
Tug along with the Sunday crew. Geeking out is what we do. Giggle on, it's gonna be great. Don't be late, let's celebrate. Science fiction on a screen so bright. Old classics and the new delights. The unapologetic geek will lead the way with facts and fun to fill your day. Discussing every detail, every frame, from the eerie to the loud and the same. Gig along with all that's great. Those Sunday vibes you can't debate. Tug along with the Sunday crew. Geeking out is what we do. Giggle on, it's gonna be great. Don't be late, let's celebrate.
Hello, welcome to the let me try that again. Hello, welcome to the Tug Chat. You see, we have a full panel this week. We are going to continue our discussion of vampire movies, but first, let's just go around and say hi. So, first of all, I'm the Unapologetic Geek. Hi. And next.
Hi. I am Sarah, or my flock is everywhere, and this is one of my flocks here, Pickles. Ow. She's joining us today. Her better half is over there, so hopefully he'll behave and we can get through this. You're welcome, and sorry.
Hi, everybody. It's Tracy from Tracy's Fractured History and More. And I'm here.
Well, hi.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Damien.
Hi, Damien.
I like movies.
Movies.
He likes movies. That's awesome.
Hello, I am Harold the Hatter from Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, and all over.
He comes from the internet.
Ah. Hi, and
And I am-
welcome, Internet Man.
Interwebs
man.
fan.
Oh, Interwebs Man, my bad.
It's a series
Sorry.
of tubes, and I infest them all.
Of course.
And 1,000 apologies. I came in a beat too early and I stepped on your line there, Harold. Terribly sorry. Will happen again. I'm a shameless beat stepper. But anyway, I'm Thrash Bondo Ponds from Thrash Bondo Ponds. And I just wanted to thank everyone for all the warm birthday wishes I got yesterday. But full disclosure, wasn't my birthday. That was 1920 were my old call letters. So I actually used October 19th. I didn't put my personal information on my Facebook account. But anyway, it was so kind of you to wish me happy birthday yesterday. And I appreciate all of you.
Well, I was just a month behind. I caught up, though.
It was just very belated. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to do it when it was time, but I
Look at
didn't
it
know
that
at the
way.
time because I forgot.
You stayed young for maybe a long time.
No, don't let him fool you. He actually is a vampire, and he really is 114 years old.
I just respond to Facebook prompts. I mean,
I do as the Facebook tells me.
yes.
Well, then I don't feel so bad about sending you. Oh, I'm sorry for the belated message. I'm not on Facebook much anymore, so I was like, I'm not on Facebook. I just saw this today. Sorry, and then it's like, oh well, no.
I remember Emily got so many happy birthday messages. She said, "I'm sorry, I can't respond to them all." And I'm like, "Oh, it must be rough having so many people love you."
Yeah. Right?
Zing.
I don't know. I think it's cool. Like if you never even hear from somebody ever, you'll still hear from them like once a year on your birthday on Facebook, and I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just I'm old and I'm embracing the Facebook oldness, but it is what it is.
Yeah, we all have future shock now, don't we?
Yes.
Things have just changed so much in the last 10 years, Yeah,
kids today look at Facebook like it's just old people social media. Like they don't They don't get on it.
And yet 1980 seems like yesterday to
I
me.
miss MySpace. MySpace
I miss
was great.
I miss
Man.
MySpace.
Yeah, I had fun there, and I felt young and cool, like I could code a thing when I just, chose a thing. It was really cool, right? And then that went away. Facebook was like the option. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm here.
I actually used to make
Lost in
money.
space.
I used to make money on MySpace. MySpace and MP3.com used to sell my music with the.
Oh no, Tug, that was OnlyFans. You have the two confused.
No, that's a different kind of music that we were making.
Hey,
yeah.
I never got any of my royalties that you promised me from OnlyFans. All right, buddy. Like, I'm still like that was like I walked funny for like months afterwards, and
Wait,
you
let me
can't
guess.
prove that that was you.
You were
man.
young
I'm
and
sorry.
you needed the money.
Your face was never
You
appearing.
never
on
got.
screen.
no, I was young, old, and all in between, and needed the money. So
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I
I
guess
just-
we should talk about vampire movies.
Oh,
At some point.
Okay.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're live.
whoops.
Daisy.
I forgot. No,
So I'm going to start with the movie that I watched really, really late last night, and this is the reason I'm a little sleep deprived. I'm 30 Days of Night. I wanted to watch
Ooh,
it
yeah,
to
good one.
refresh my memory. It's a really cool concept. The idea that you go to this northern Alaskan town.
oh yeah, I saw that movie just the
The
other
sun
day.
goes down, and like there's a whole month of darkness. Because Alaska. And during this dark month, some vampires come in and take over the town.
That was a great movie.
It's a fantastic movie. The thing I love about it is just how quickly things spiral out of control and how completely overwhelmed and unprepared this little podunk Alaskan town is for this vampire invasion. And it starts with Ben Foster, who's kind of like the Renfield of this story. He comes in first during the daylight hours to, kill all the dogs, sabotage the helicopter, stuff like that. Sabotage the phone lines, burn all the satellite phones.
Yeah, put
that
it in
kind of
the
stuff.
compactor. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then the vampires come in, and these are more Nosferatu feral-esque vampires. I mean, they're still like intelligent, but you wouldn't mistake them for humans. They don't look human. They look like monsters. And only one really talks, and it's Danny Houston, and he only talks in like this weird ancient language that's not even like, it's not a real language, and it's not said in the movie what language it's supposed to be. In my head canon, it's like Sumerian or something. And you've got this handful of people who have to survive for a month in the dark with these feral vampires running around, and they will kill you almost instantly as soon as they see you. And I don't know, it's very cool. It's like it's a survival kind of story. I don't know. It's got shades of The Thing because it's in this frozen wasteland. It feels a little bit like Tremors in that you got this like small town, small group of people who are isolated, but it's not funny.
Well,
and it's got fantastic practical effects. I mean, it's gross and nauseating, but they're really good, and they're practical effects. There's some CG that's a little iffy, but not as bad, not as much as you think. And it's bleak without being hopeless, if that makes any sense. Like, it's got a very somber tone, and it's got a kind of depressing ending, but kind of not depressing ending. It's an interesting movie that I think gets overlooked too often when talking about vampire movies, because it takes that whole action-packed element of a vampire movie, but also makes it more of a zombie, holed up in a building, trying to hold off the horde of zombies at the gate, but they're vampires. I don't know. I think it takes a lot of inspiration from things like the Omega Man, I Am Legend, stuff like that. I think it's fantastic. It's great.
I saw it, Dan. Ha. It was down. I was just rubbing it on my face. So I never see anything.
I loved it because it's one of those like it, because you're like, oh wait, there are. Don't be cross. That's nice. There are areas where it's like where there's like no sun or all sun, right? And like the foil to vampirism is we'll just wait until it's daylight and attack them there, and that's when they're weak, right?
Right.
But the beauty, yeah, like you kind of touched on or while you like you mentioned or whatever, the whole like there is no escape, becomes even more terrifying, right? And everything. So I love the whole concept of the movie. I really enjoyed watching it. Remind me who stars in it?
Josh Hartnett is the
Yes.
main guy.
That's right.
And he's actually really good. Like Josh Hartnett as an actor, not the best actor in the world, okay? But I like him in this role because he's playing this like kind of half stoic Alaskan sheriff, but he's kind of he I don't know. There's something about his character that really works with Josh Hartnett. He's very well cast in this
Yes.
role. I think maybe the character was written for somebody a little bit older, but I think Josh Hartnett plays it well enough that you can kind of get past that.
Well, to me, like I couldn't remember. I was like, I wanted to say Ashton Kutcher, but I was like, no, I know it's not that, right? But it was like,
Yeah.
but it's again someone of that ilk,
Yeah,
where they're not known for their incredible acting skills. Yet in this movie, he did a really, really good job, and I think that's. When I watched the movie, I was like, I would like if you just told me this cast, and I wasn't just genuinely interested because I love vampire movies or whatever, I wouldn't have watched it. But then when, because I'm like, I'm not going, oh, it's a Josh Hartnett movie, I am there, right? That is not a sentence that I have ever said in my life. But this movie is really, really good, and he does exceptional. I hope he gets many royalties from this because he did a good job with it.
Yeah.
And I think I hope everybody that was a part of this movie continues to get very good royalties from it because it's a very good movie, and they did a great job with it.
If you really want to see a good Josh Hartnett role, you should see Lucky Number 11.
Yes,
He's
I was
really
about
good
to
in
say
that.
that. Yeah, that's a good
That's
one.
probably
Yeah.
his best role.
I
Not
really
Pearl
like him
Harbor?
in that movie. You're funny.
Hey, you know what? Actually, anyone watching this, go to the Unapologetic Geeks playlist, and you will see in one of our live streams, we talked about military movies, and that movie did, I think, come up at least once.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
It
Lance
was
brought it up. And
Yeah,
we talked about
was
its pros
brought
and
up.
cons. Yeah.
Yes,
Look, it must be read into the record. It is in fact a World War II movie, but it's just
it is.
It's nobody. The only thing, and I said it then, and I'll say it again now. The only thing I really remember is the scene. Kate. Something or other.
Beckinsale.
Thank you, Kate Beckinsale. She's walking across the airstrip in that red silk mini dress, and it's like that's not literally the only scene I remember.
Of course it is.
Well deserved, Miss Beckinsale. Well
Of
deserved.
course it is.
But yeah, no. So if you want to hear more about our feelings and the grace that we did give it, check that playlist after this after here.
I
What
think
you
a
said.
fun double feature would be like Insomnia, and then watch 30 Days of Night. So you get like everything in the daytime and then everything at night.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
I've yet to
love
see.
the concept.
And never watched Twilight. Okay.
Yeah, no.
I've yet to see
Never
30
say that
Days
word
of Night.
just
Just a
house.
filler.
On my list of movies to watch. But
You haven't seen it, really?
no,
it's
it's
really
on my
good.
list of movies to watch, or was on my list of movies.
The thing
to
I,
watch
I
for
also really
this,
like about it is
so.
it's not very pretentious. It's not trying to be anything it's not. It knows it's based on a graphic novel. It knows it's just a vampire movie. It does have some themes and like it has some character development, but really it's just about vampires attacking a town. That's all it is,
Okay.
which is great.
Yeah.
I love it.
Sometimes it's good to
Archie.
just be honest about what,
Yeah,
what
sometimes
you
you
are.
just gotta know what you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Sarah, now it's your turn.
Okay, since you took the thing I was going to say, so that's cool. Mind reader and all that. Okay. So then the other thing that I watched recently, because I only had time for two things, because one is a series, was a Amazon series, right? Called Only Human.
I've heard
Anybody
of
heard
this,
that?
but I have not seen it.
Oh, it is great. The British one is not so good. I don't recommend that. But I do recommend the original American one or whatever. Yes, that was good. It's about a ghost and a werewolf and a vampire all living together, right? And you find that vampires look down upon werewolves, right? And then at some point, the vampires get a disease from the normal people because they got sick one time, right? Like type of COVID type thing, right? And then then they start dying off, and then the werewolf blood saves their lives and stuff. So they started just killing all the werewolves, like just straight out killing them to get cured and stuff. It was crazy. It's really good. I recommend that series. It was awesome. Yeah.
Sounds interesting. Well, I remember back in the 80s reading a comic where a vampire bites one of his victims, has HIV.
Wow.
And he basically just decomposes because vampires have no resistance to that. And so it's a great concept of because we're their food source, things that would negatively impact us, you'd think would have some type of negative impact on them. So I haven't seen either, but I love that concept.
Right, and then another thing too, I thought was really cool about it too. It's like the vampires aren't just like one type of vampire, really. I mean, they are, but they travel in like different sects, right, or sects or whatever it is. I can't think of the word. But anyways, then they have like a thing where it's all the like queen vampire that runs like everything type stuff, right? Then she gets killed, but then they have these ones that like to live like the old ways, right? So they hang upside down, and they're all like in the Amish community because it's as close to the old times as they could get, right? So they just kind of hang out there. Then when they're needed to clean up a mess or something, then they come in and throw their weight around and stuff, right? It's really good, right? And then they even capture the werewolves and make them fight and stuff. It's just amazing. Like, I thought it was very creative.
Very cool.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes. Yeah.
And that.
Yeah, and the guy's always struggling to try to be a better vampire than he used to be, but he keeps somehow failing, and then he finally figures it out. The guy hates being a werewolf, and finally gets to not be a werewolf for a while. Then he becomes one again. It's crazy. And then the ghost, she's all over the place. And then she comes back as a zombie. Then she dies again. It's interesting.
So this is actually based on a British TV show. So,
yes, okay. Well, the British one is dumb. Don't watch it. I don't used to say that because I used to think British stuff was a lot better, but no, not this time. No, absolutely not.
I haven't seen this one, so I will have to check this one out. But I actually enjoyed the British one, and so I'm interested on this take and interpretation. And so, yeah. Like, cause I'm familiar with the British version, cause it's got Aiden, what's his name? Really good actor. Anyways, and Paul Dark and what have you, but what's that?
I said Aiden Quinn, but that was just
no. British actor. He's in it, like Paul Dark and stuff like that. But like, but yeah, no, I haven't. I thought I thought I'd heard that there was an American version that came out, and so
yeah, that's great.
And the guy that plays the vampire, I can't think of his name, but he is so awesome. I love him because he is great and like he is like big into dork culture and stuff like that. So he's like been on some D&D like celebrity D&D like shows on the internet and like YouTube and things like that. And so he seems like a very, very, very nice person.
The comments are just agreeing with you, apparently. Trace.
With me?
No, not you. With Sarah. They're saying the British one is good.
Skip that one. Just American one is good. Mm-hmm.
I will say the actor who plays the vampire in this American one, I haven't seen either one, so I have no dog in this fight. But that actor is Sam Witwer, who anybody who's played The Force Unleashed should recognize. Yeah.
Yes.
Star Killer.
Right.
And he's also been in Battlestar Galactica and a couple other things.
Yeah.
Battlestar Galactica is not real. Don't
stop it! I'm not going to engage in you with that conversation. But judging by the fact that you don't like the British version and you don't like the remake of Battlestar Galactica, I think I'll have to give the British version a try.
Yeah. You won't thank me. You'll be like, I should have listened. Trust and believe, it's not good at all.
I liked it.
Um,
So I don't.
Well, I like the American version, which is like I said, I think British comedy is the best type of stuff. Like I'll see that every day of the week, right? But when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is awful. I don't at all. And
No,
I didn't. I stopped
and
it.
like no, that wasn't. That's not like I like because again like the whole like I like this and it like. But I like the other one, and so which one's right? I like to me again. They're both opinions,
Yeah.
right? They're both opinions. So like again, like for me, I like this whole like that whole like, so I appreciate that you don't like it because there's going to be lots of people that don't like it, right? And then there will be some that do. Doesn't make anyone right because again, opinions are like bungholes. Everyone has one and they all stink, right? And so right,
Mine
yeah,
smells
and
like
so and
roses,
so.
Scott. Don't even. Or I mean, Harold.
Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, even people who are wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, like yeah, no, okay.
No,
Everyone's
Harold, I
entitled
get what
to
you're
my
saying.
opinion.
I agree.
But yeah, but I do recommend the series though. It's really good. You know.
I will add it to my list.
Oh yeah. So those are the two things I had watched in preparation. You know, I finished the series and then had to watch the movie. But then you take the movie, so there I go. I tried.
Because I've read your mind.
I know. It's based. Okay.
Okay, Tracy, it's your turn.
Okay, mine is The Hunger. I love Catherine Deneuve, and of course I love David Bowie, but I
David
also,
Bowie.
the thing that really kills me is I love the music that they used for that movie. And even the, what they call that, intro, or the, like in the intro music, but not the theme necessarily, the music that's, and before something happens,
The
it's like
preamble or whatever.
Yes,
Yeah.
those are great. Those are great, and of course, I love David Bowie. I mean, I love Cat. Was that Cat People?
Oh, yeah.
That he sang for, but I know it wasn't necessarily a vampire movie, but I still like that movie. That's one of my favorite movies. Is Cat People. But yeah, I like that whole. I mean, and the thing was done so artistically too. That's what I get kind of into.
It's an amazing movie. In fact, didn't I mention this?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Tracy
last
wasn't
week.
here, so it's okay.
Oh.
We can talk about it again.
So, the reason I mentioned that is Tracy ditto. I actually really love that movie. One particular scene, which I won't bring up again because we've already discussed that. It's so late.
Oh boy.
I think you know the scene I'm talking about. But yeah, it's an amazing movie. And Bowie, even though he's not in a lot of the movie, he like steals the show.
Oh yeah.
The scene where he's waiting in that doctor's office. I mean, you get like actual anxiety just like watching him. It's. I think it was one of his best performances, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think so too. And just because he's not in through the whole movie, the parts that he is in just brings it out even more. Yeah.
I missed this comment earlier, Danny.
Vampire
Mamma
Hunter.
mia.
Harold the Vampire Hunter.
Yeah.
But no, The Hunger is a really interesting movie.
Yeah, it's very artistic.
And it is artistic.
Yeah, I love it. I love that.
I think it's a very misunderstood movie because a lot of people go into it not expecting kind of an arty movie, and it is a little bit of an arty movie, and that never goes well with a lot of audiences. And I don't think critics liked it very much, which is weird to me because it seems like a movie that critics would like.
Oh no, they tore it to shreds
Yeah.
when it was in theaters and stuff. I mean, I only discovered it on it was part of that whole the first surge of home theater.
Right.
My buddies and I, we would like deep dive because I mean most people were going, oh look, the top 10 list or the new releases. I'm like, no. Find obscure stuff because that's like the benefit of being able to like watch whatever you want. And we discovered that one, and it was a good find.
I think that's like at the very early days of Bravo TV, the TV channel Bravo, like in the very early days where all it did was like show art house movies. I think that's how I discovered it.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time I saw it was on Bravo.
See,
I saw a lot of really good movies that way. I discovered Paper Moon that way.
Yeah.
The Gig, a lot of really cool movies. Smoke, I love Smoke. A lot of like really obscure indie movies. I loved it.
Bravo used to be an amazing channel, and
Yeah,
then
now
it
it's just
became
the
Yeah, no.
Top Chef channel.
now it's just the what was it, the real lives of
Oh yeah.
and the
It's just her
Kardashians
husband's
and
Look,
Yeah.
it's like the History Channel that used to be like about history. Now well, anyways, there's ancient aliens. I'm like, whoa.
well, no, but we all know everything is aliens. Like,
Ancient aliens.
Yeah, and then you're gonna have the crazy hair. You're like, oh, it's aliens all the time. Emily, the answer is aliens. Everything aliens. You're like,
I love like getting into watching a YouTube video where somebody will have watched all of Ancient Aliens and just like really go
Oh, no.
deep into the lore of Ancient Aliens and try to reconcile all the different conspiracy theories into one
Right?
unified. I love it.
Right?
It is so fun.
but
Never missed an
aliens.
episode.
So the Anunnaki are actually from Hindodaro, which they do. But you're right. They actually they try to, and it's like no. It's like people who watched the Highlander TV series faithfully.
Yeah.
How can he be in Moscow during the Russian Revolution and in
Oh,
on
yeah.
the Western Front during the German Spring Offensive? It's like you know,
Yeah.
you know he's a person who lives a long time. He's not a ubiquitous, you know. He can only be at one
So-
place at a time.
okay, like for anyone that's watching that is a video game developer, okay.
That's
so there is
everyone.
a game. I know, right?
It's me,
So
I'm afraid.
So there is a horror game that's getting big play right now because it's spooky season and all that stuff. That went to I think it was like Reddit or an internet like page where like you had a lot of people posting all of these like horror, like allegedly like true. I don't know if not, but I say allegedly true like horror stories and stuff like that and blah blah blah. And posting it out there or whatever. And then they took all of these things and they make it into these like little like one shots spooky games, right, and horror games and stuff like that. Like, someone please go through like Ancient Aliens and all of these like conspiracy things and please turn it into like a Cthulhu-esque horror like video game.
Yeah.
Oh, it would be wonderful. Like you just do these like little one shots and like that would be glory. And you have to like, it's almost like a Dan Brown novel of like having to figure out like what the conspiracy is and try and overcome it. But much like Cthulhu, you will never ever win. And so
That's kind of what the what Assassin's Creed used to be. It used to be like you take a bunch of really crazy conspiracy theories about the Illuminati and stuff, and this is what would have been if that is actually real history. Like we're going to twist the events of history to fit your random conspiracy theories about the Templars and stuff. And I love that stuff. That's really fun, especially in video game form.
So, just in case anyone, because there's a number of people, video game developers on Twitch and stuff like that. So, just in case, like, there's anyone out there, that would just be a brilliant and beautiful.
You better
even
write
if you
down
did
that
it like
this
an
is
old
your
school.
idea.
No, I don't, no.
royalties.
No, take it and run, y'all. Take it and run. Put beauty out into the world. Y'all enjoy it. You put in the work. But no, like
I'll take the royalties.
No.
Yeah. Somebody will in here. I'll take it. Yeah, one of us. I'll take credit for it.
If you need a writer, I'm here.
Yeah.
We can't afford that.
Yeah, I just like just because of that, like bring that up. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, awesome.
No, it's
That's a
good.
great idea.
Damien, it's your turn. I was like,
Oh,
whose
okay.
turn is it? I forgot.
I am going to go with the other one that I wanted to go with, but anyway, because the other one was done last week. But Interview with the Vampire.
I knew it had to come up eventually.
Oh, absolutely.
I've always liked this movie because they it's a good movie. First off, they it's well shot, like great costumes and sets and so on and so forth, and great setting the scene of where they are and all that at any one time in the movie. But also just they kind of turn a lot of the the myths about vampires on their head. Garlic doesn't bother them. Crosses, who cares? Churches, whatever.
Ravings of a demented Irishman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah. Stakes through the heart, nah. But sunlight, oh yeah, yeah. That'll take care of it right there. Just a little sunlight. But
well, they
no,
go
just-
true with the stakes, like because like Tug or Thresh brought up, like the stake is there to like keep them stuck on the ground, like it doesn't. Actually kill them.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Keep
so
'em-
they
keep
go
'em
to the
stuck there.
true, the true myth rather than the false myth.
Yeah. So, but the whole idea of the stake through the heart killing them doesn't really kill them. It's just to stake them down like was previously mentioned, so that when the sun comes up, they poof. Anyway,
No, there's a lot of people who don't like this kind of vampire story where it's like you're sympathizing with the monster, and the monster is like this tortured Victorian romantic gothic, like that style doesn't sit well with everybody.
I like it because it's like it's from the vampire's perspective, or at least one that's like
Yeah,
at
you
least
don't get
still
that very
moral,
often, at least
you know?
even back then.
Yeah.
Well, and when you look at it, so it like first off written I think in like the 70s or 80s, right? Like and then in the 90s the movie came out, and it's like there are definitely at least in the movie there are definite undertones of homosexual relationships, right? Or at least like a love,
I don't think
right?
that really counts as undertone. I think it's pretty overt.
Yeah. No. I'm trying to be like if someone didn't pick it up on the very least, right? I think it's blatant.
I mean,
like,
just look
there's
at
a
that.
blatant obvious, right?
Yeah.
No, there's a blatant obvious aspect, but it's actually it's much more complex, and it's almost like familial incest, right? Like because like he's the father as well as a lover, and there's a lot of complexity and a lot of like this toxicity, right?
Yeah, they try to create
that
their own like,
touches him.
twisted family unit with Claudia and everything. Yeah.
Right. There's an incredibly right. So psychologically, it's fantastic. But like for the 90s, right? Because like for us that like grew up like in our hometown, like we were battling like not we, but like the our city, which has a gay pride event that's massive. But also in the Bible Belt, like there was a big contention about like even allowing gays to come to the town in this level because it's unholy, right? And here you are in this movie with this, for the era, this homosexual relationship, and you're siding with them, and for that to kind of come up and come out in that era, with how. Like we think about it, like how much it's shamed today. Like it was even worse then and worse, before, right? And so like for that to come out to be such a success and to make a social impact, and yet also have like so much going on, it's such a like to me it's I agree with it. Was on my list, but I figured somebody would bring it out.
It was on my list too. I was going to bring it up eventually if nobody else did.
It has to be brought up. I was like, no, it has to be brought up before this is over.
Yeah.
But I figured somebody would bring it up, but because it is iconic. It's like Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Antonio
Kirsten
Banderas,
Yeah.
Kirsten,
Christian
Kristen
Slater as the
Christian Slater.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
and
so
Stephen Ray. So
it's insane, an insane cast, and I like.
And it's
never
directed
would've
by
thought.
Neil Jordan, who say whatever you want about this movie. He nails the tone, like absolutely nails it.
Yes.
I've like the other versions, like Queen of the Damned and that really bad TV show. They don't do it at all. They don't get anywhere close to it. But this movie absolutely hits it on the head. And I remember before it came out, and Anne Rice herself was ticked off about the casting of Tom Cruise. And so was everybody else, really. Anybody who'd read the book thinking Tom Cruise as Lestat, what are you, insane?
He did a great job as Lestat, though. I mean, he really did.
But he's really good because he plays a psycho. And I think Tom Cruise is a psycho.
Complete
but also,
psychopath or sociopath. Harold, I'm going to refer to you for that one. But
go ahead, Harold.
But like for because I totally get her like her anger about it, because you think about what he's done, like Risky Business, Top Gun, blah blah blah. He's never done anything like this. But then you see like there's this stint like with this and then Magnolia, which are like show
And don't forget
such
Collateral.
oh, and Collateral, right? Yeah, but like shows such a depth of his ability to act, even though he does like Mission Impossibles and things like that. Like I really liked also Day and Night that he did. I thought he was actually really good and funny in that. But like in this stint, there was like this real stint of him truly being an artist, and it really showed his capacity. But I agree with you. Like I like hearing that Tom Cruise is just going to bring in a name, right? This is crap. Like but he did it. He did such a good job. Yeah.
Well, I gotta tell you, as I'm sure you folks all know, not a huge Tom Cruise fan. I do agree he has done some good work.
When?
We all know how.
I think I named some. I think I just listed some.
I can never.
I thought you meant. Okay.
I can never forgive him though for the Lion's Den. I can never. Harvey Villashez would have made a more convincing German officer. Do you
Oh yes, and Valkyrie. No. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Valkyrie was the movie. Lion's Den is one of the books it was based on.
Oh, I see.
I'm sorry. Wire crossed in the brain. But but yeah, he was the worst von Stauffenberg in recorded history.
It's
It
so
was
depressing
dreadful.
too, because the rest of the cast is so good.
Brilliant. Everyone else was at their best, and then you had Tom Cruise like, "Oh, hi, old folks." It's like, dude, what's going on here?
I'd be the producers.
Exactly.
It's Sean.
Exactly. Were you on hallucinogenics when you made this? And the sad thing is, that movie couldn't have been made. Tom Cruise agreed to push for it if he could play von Stauffenberg, and everyone kind of went,
Really?
fine, how bad could he be? But anyway, I digress. As I'm sure all of you also know, this was actually the first movie Mrs. Thrash and I saw in the theaters when on our first date.
Oh.
So it kind of has a special meaning for me. But
Awesome.
Your movie.
Tom Cruise. Now, I never read the books, so I feel as though I'm like not really qualified to judge it because I didn't read the source material. But I thought Tom Cruise was at his best. I thought Brad Pitt was at his best. Kirsten Dunst, who was 12 at the time.
Amazing. Yeah,
Mhm.
for
Yeah,
12.
she was amazing.
Absolutely,
Amazing
she
in that
stole
role.
the movie.
Uh-huh.
I've always loved this template. I love the idea because when you go to a movie, the audience is the witness.
Oh God, Danny.
So when the story within a story is a narration, like Little Big Man. Little Big Man's one of my favorite movies. I love the idea of
That's a good movie.
Yeah,
we're
it's
being
long.
told a story while watching the story, and it just fits together. Oh, and one scene that actually I thought was just amazing, because you don't think about stuff like this. When in the early days of the film industry, and he goes to a movie, and he goes, "I saw the sunrise for the first time in 135 years."
Yeah.
Oh.
And I'm just like, wow. I mean, like little things like that would be a huge deal for a vampire, and the fact that he's actually living history because he doesn't die. He's actually living history, and how the various things that would impact him both positively and negatively. And you don't think of a lot of positive impacts for vampires. So I thought that was just
That is
amazing.
true.
Yeah.
The one thing that, I mean, it does deviate from the books in positive ways, like in ways that I think are improvements. And I say that as an Anne Rice fan, or at least some of her stuff, not all of her stuff. One thing it does preserve that I absolutely love that it preserves is a lot of the dialogue. A lot of the dialogue is ripped right out of the book, and it's got some great lines, like God kills indiscriminately, and so shall we, and stuff like that. You know, like it really, again, it nails that tone, that like that kind of gothic angsty. You know, I don't know. I just love it.
One of the things I really liked about the movie was just how they, like the story progresses through large jumps in time. Like, you know, 30 years will pass. You're like 1 second they're here, and 30 years later. You know, it's like, because to a vampire that lives forever, basically, you know, for hundreds of years, then yeah, time would just kind of these are the big moments. It's like, this is what I remember. It's like, as for us who live much more finite lives, we might have big moments every year or multiple times a year, that we remember. Whereas for them, it's just, well, that's all mundane. But these are the big things that happen,
There were big gaps in the 80s for me.
Yeah. I got some of those in the
confess.
90s, my friend.
Yeah. 89, it's like the old joke, remember with children? Hey, Sebastian, you remember me back in 69? I don't remember much about 69. In 89, it was my 1989? I don't no.
I remember 88, and I remember 90, but 89 is kind of a blur.
After 85, I'm done.
Yeah, people
I
who
don't
remember
remember
89 weren't there.
I was at a party and someone came in and said Andy Warhol died, and the next thing I remember, I was at a Gulf War victory party.
And forever, I realized that I thought that Andy Warhol's death saved us in the Iraq War, in the Gulf War. Because of his death, his sacrifice, he saved us in the Gulf War.
But he would have made a
mistaken,
great
I was.
Sorry
Dracula.
about that.
No, I wanna touch on something because you bring up such an amazing point, Thrash, with your point about how we are bearing witness to what is happening, right? We are the
witness.
And I love that framing. It's like we are being told histories to be the keeper of history, right? Of this history, right? Because it's like passing this on, whatever, right? Like passing on this story almost like in ancient times, how we, before like writing and stuff like that, before script, like, that this is how this was passed on, was a telling of a story, right? And you are the keeper now of this story, and it is your obligation to hold on to it, to be the caretaker of the story and carry it forward, right? And your framing of we bear witness to this, right? The good, the bad, the ugly, and all of that stuff. It becomes so meta in this story, in both the book and the movie, when we get to the theater de Vampire, where the audience, we are bearing witness to the audience bearing witness to the horrors of our darkest selves, right? So it's like this meta, like almost like Deadpool-esque, fourth wall kind of like meta kind of perspective, where we're watching what we are at that time, right? Where it's like, because that audience represents us, and we're like, for shame on this audience, but we are that audience, right? So now it causes you to reflect on yourself for being are you going to stand here and just continue to listen to the story and do nothing, to stand by, right? And let's be honest, yes, if you look throughout history, when people have told us things are wrong, right? We've simply stood by and discounted it, ignored it, put up our walls, put up our disbelief. Like, nowadays you see all these videos, and like when they're talking about I'm not trying to get political. I'm just saying, like, right, a perspective. Like right now we're seeing this aspect of like, watching police brutality is like the big thing right now, right? And for decades, certain populations have been calling about this, but they were dismissed. Now that we have video, we're like, hey, did you know this is happening? And these populations are like, duh, what do you think we've been trying to get you to see, right? But we were told, yet we ignored it, right? And we sat by and we allowed it to happen. And that theater section is such a great metaphor for us. Right. And it goes to like the Milgram studies. Right. Everybody blew up on Milgram when he was like, because the participants were like, he tricked me. He did whatever, blah, blah, blah. I felt wronged, all this different stuff. When in reality, it was you. We just brought to light who we are. We stood ourselves in front of the mirror and we found ourselves wanting. Right. And so that's what, like, again, there's like so many different things. And in that, and the fact that you bring that up, that is the like a great metaphor for, or what that theater is such a great metaphor for, is that we will stand by and we will like allow these atrocities to happen and just do nothing, and we see it play out all the time, even currently.
As I understand it, getting back to Interview with the Vampire, as I understand it, this
it's about an interview.
No, it is. And the original plan, and what I'm saying is in addition to this, the original plan after Interview with the Vampire, if Interview with the Vampire was successful, which it was successful, this just didn't happen. The original plan was they were going to make The Vampire Lestat, which is the second book in the series, and basically tells the same story through Lestat's point of view. And that's one of the reasons why the movie Interview with the Vampire ends with Lestat showing up and grabbing David and turning him into a vampire. You know, I give you the choice that I never had. You were supposed to then immediately launch into Lestat's story from the beginning and see all these same events from his perspective, his point of view. And it was going to be a very different movie, a very different like perspective of events. Yeah, exactly. And it's a shame that that fell through for whatever reason. I have no idea why.
That'd have been great.
Yeah, probably because it'd been really good. They couldn't handle it.
Instead, we got Queen of the Damned.
It made $223 million in the box. In the box,
it was a hit.
It was a hit. Yeah.
Wow. As I recall, Queen of the Damned had a great soundtrack.
It did, and I like Stuart Townsend as Lestat. He did a good job, but the movie's terrible.
Yeah, it was just
right.
But
if I could just say
and for those,
thing, go ahead.
I was gonna say, just to point off of what Damien said, like for those that are younger today and they see like 220 million is not that big, right?
It was back
for that time. It was massive.
Yeah.
Okay, it was big. Like we're not like it's not. Yes, it's not Avengers, big, but it is massive, right? And
it'd be like a 600 or 700 million dollar movie today.
Yeah, it was a massive movie. So
everyone relish in what's on
Sorry,
screen.
Yes.
Oh, I just want to put out that was fine. I just want to put out one thing about the theater scene because it struck me at the time, and you're so right. I mean, is the audience, do they really believe it's all part of the act and the girl's just a really good actress, or do they just make themselves believe it? Or I mean, practical effects weren't that good, in the 18th century, right? But every time I see that scene, I always go back to the scene in Clockwork Orange.
Oh no!
Where Alex and the Droogs walk in on the ground, and it's on a stage.
Yep.
And I always thought they took it was like almost like an homage to it. They walk in, and the rival gang is on the stage, and they're about to do some really unsanitary things to this poor girl. They inadvertently save the girl.
Right.
So you're taking what's possibly the worst group of people because we all know what they do because. So these aren't the good guys. Yet, and at the same time, in this one instance, they actually save a girl. And again, arguably inadvertently. But I always thought that was it's a really interesting scene if you look at it like that in the movie. And I always thought it was very interesting. They do almost an homage to it in Interview.
No, I see the connective tissue there. I don't think you're wrong.
No, and again, like from my perspective, like again, we have this like it reminds me of our like we need a when we're facing the horrors, the worst horror people, we need to make sure that we have our own horrible people doing the work rather than good people. And it's like this misguided mindset that we tend to have, that we don't have faith in ourselves that good people can actually save the day, and so we need to have horrific people that will out horrific the other horrific people, thus making us as evil as they are or worse, right? And
that's
so
horrific.
Like this, right? And so so they accidentally, these horrible people accidentally save the day is like, again, just another metaphor for our laziness. Not laziness, our feelings of ineptitude. I'll phrase it that way.
Well, speaking of Brad Pitt, in the Iliad, Achilles, who is the hero, he is a nutcase.
Yes.
He is that line. We don't need to control. We need to unleash him. That's pretty much. Achilles was a hero, but nobody liked him. Everyone was terrified of him. He was a sociopath. But they needed him. He was indispensable to the Greek war effort. So that concept is nothing new. The idea of the good guys using bad guys to do the dirty work for good is, well, it goes back to the Iliad. It probably goes back further than that too, but it was a little.
And like
Yeah,
that cinematic
great point,
classic,
great
The
point.
Suicide Squad. Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, but
Classic.
the comic is fantastic.
So I
Well,
heard.
and also just no, but also like not even just like the Suicide Squad, but and Waller, right? The reason that she's in power is
Careful with
like
that
she
word,
has
by the
any
way.
kind of authority is because of the people who do the evil.
The self-elimination squad. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Big Brother is watching you, not Tracy.
That's
Big
right. That's right. That's right.
What we said was no, not that at all.
Yeah.
The Judas
on-
Option Squad. I use the term Judas Option.
Judas option. That works.
It gets the point across,
Ah.
and it's colorful. You know,
And
Right.
it's artistic and beautiful. That's what I'm stealing. I'm borrowing that. I'm not stealing. I'm borrowing it. And I'll give homage to you on that.
Okay, well, it
long-term
is
borrowing.
your turn, Harold.
Harold.
Okay,
Harold.
so I was like, I was gonna make sure like that we brought up Interview with the Vampire if we didn't today, but I'm so glad that Damien did. And there's another movie that I am surprised that and I get it because it's like one or two, but I'm going to bring this up just because, again, I think that this is a must see, and it's not a very big movie. It's not a super well known, but I know Tug absolutely knows it because he has brought it up in other instances about how great of a movie it is, and that is Daybreakers. Ethan Hawke is a vampire disease or like a disease has turned people into vampires. Ethan Hawke is a hematologist who is trying to create an alternative to needing human blood, and there is a group of people who are in power that don't want the system to change. Wow. Where does that sound familiar? I won't say it, but you know what I'm saying. No, anyways, oligarchy, but like,
It was gonna come up.
but, and so he has this ability, and what they find is that those that get treated, are now immune to the bites of vampires, right? And so, and if you don't feed, then you like devolve and become, and so one person's child refused to feed off of humans because, again, disgusting, right? And she's holding on to her humanity, and so in the auspice of holding on to, to save the day, to prevent like her devolving into just this unthinking monster, they throw her into the sunlight and burn her, and her father reaches out and all this stuff. And so Ethan Hawke's character must try and work to find this cure and support this cure and fight the oligarchy. And so it's a really, really great and interesting take on vampirism. And it is such a good movie. It is such a good movie. I don't want to give too many like spoilers away because where is it? It's free on Sling. It's free on Sling TV. Yeah. So again,
it's like a sci-fi twinged version of True Blood that is not a soap opera. So
yes.
Yeah.
But hey,
I have
let's
seen
not-
this movie, but at the same time, I don't remember enough of it to really. I know I've seen this movie though, so.
I think it has some
Yeah, it
very
sounds
clever
amazing.
social commentary. I mean, it's really on the nose, but it is very clever.
And hey, don't get too hard on True Blood, because True Blood had one of the greatest characters ever in any movie or TV show, and that is Lafayette Reynolds, played by Nelson Ellis. So Lafayette is one of the greatest characters ever in a TV show, and so don't hate on that too much. I get some of the hate. It's not without deserving of hate. But let's not throw that onto Lafayette.
I can't claim to
that's
have a
great
very
character.
learned opinion of True Blood. I've only seen about 10 minutes of it, and I turned it off because it was boring.
Oh, I watched the whole season. I watched the whole series. Lafayette. If you watch it for Lafayette, you will be like, all right, this is exactly my life is made, because Lafayette
Yes.
is one of the greatest characters ever. Anyways, but yes,
If
true.
you like Daybreakers, you could also definitely watch Predestination. Yes, that is a
Oh, yes.
time travel-ish movie that I actually approve of. So that speaks highly of it.
Oh, I haven't seen that. And it's oh wait, I'll find out where you can watch Predestination. See if I can find it for free. But
Okay.
anyways, go
Well,
ahead.
while you do
continue.
that, Thrash can go.
Well, thank you. Before I go, I wanted to say one thing. You brought up something earlier when you were talking about 30 Days of Night and about how they're not like human vampires. They're more of your Nosferatu vampires. And it got me thinking, because, and there's no wrong answer here, but which to you guys is scarier? Scary monster vampires because they look like scary monsters, or human vampires because they fit right in and you don't know they're going to predate you until you are predated?
A human, for sure.
The concept of the human is
Yeah.
scarier, but the visual of the animal vampire is, on screen is scarier.
Yeah, but
The
you see them
That's exactly
coming.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Right,
Well
you'll
said.
see that and hear them coming, but if they look like you, you're just gonna be like, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I saw Tom Cruise come at me with his fangs out, I'd be terrified.
Yeah, it'd be a little
If I saw
scary,
Tom Cruise in general, I'd be like,
especially if he's like going on and on and on about, those church-
Scientology.
Yeah.
He
He just wants to read your
Scientology.
engrams, man.
You know what's really sad is
Don't
like
sue me.
I was a special ed, like, growing up, right? And they always said everybody can grow up to be like Tom Cruise and be an actor and stuff because everybody reads to him his lines because he has dyslexia too, can't read. I'm like, I don't want to grow up to be like Tom Cruise. Don't tell me that. And then I looked at
That is all
him,
that.
Don't
I
equate
told
me
you
to
there,
Tom
I'm like,
Cruise. Don't put me in the same group with him. Ew.
right, please. Come on.
Totally.
Different species
Totally
altogether.
Totally unrelated.
Always.
But you
Right.
actually, Harold made me think of this before when he was talking about the old campfire stories, which is how we actually learned to absorb storytelling. When I was a kid, I loved being read to. I hated actually reading. I don't have a disability. I just always hated reading. It was dry and boring, and sometimes my mind would drift. So I'd forget what I was actually reading. So I guess I did have some kind of disability.
Yeah, ADHD sucks, man.
Yeah.
But the reason I bring all this
Right?
up is I was actually reading. I was reading an article online, and they say they think because when we started out as humans, we didn't have a written language. Obviously, we learned by people telling us things. Writing actually became a form of record keeping with the Sumerians and was never intended to be an art form or an entertainment. So they think that we actually get better retention from actually listening to stories as opposed to reading them. And there's been a spike in audiobooks as a result. And I don't know if there's just more lazy people in the world, but I thought that was a fascinating
I think it's quite
take.
the opposite. I think it's just people are too busy to read.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it depends on the person. Some people are, audiovisual
Busy, some are
learners.
busy.
Others are, but anyway, I learn best when I can hear it and read it at the same time. I don't know if that sounds,
Oh no! In a
Nope.
perfect
That's
world,
totally
yes.
normal.
Yep.
If it's read
Reinforcing
to
different
me,
parts of your brain.
if
and all
it's
that.
read
And
to
if
me,
I-
I
Exactly.
get it. If I,
Yeah.
if,
No,
yeah, if
yes.
it's read,
Too.
if it's
I
read
can
to me, I get it. If I try to read it myself, we're done. I can't. I don't know what I just read.
Mhm.
That word's not that word. Okay, well, whatever. Reading is dumb.
I think it's Albert Brooks' son. I think it's Matt Brooks, Mark Brooks, Max Brooks.
Max Brooks.
Yeah.
Dabbling
So
Brooks.
all of his books, like if you listen
World War
to like World War Z and all that, like all of his books are written and with the intention of being an audiobook because he had dyslexia, and so they had to hire someone to go through and read all of his books and record it on a tape, and then they would do exactly like you said, where he would listen to the tape while reading it, so that he could learn. And so that's why when he, as an author, when he writes with the intention of it being an audiobook for those that, like you said, like I'm similar. If it's said to me, I'll retain it even more than if I read it. Right.
I won't retain it no
And-
matter what. So.
Things that are said I retain like so well, but things that I read, it's hit or miss sometimes. And so yeah, and that's why he like writes in the way, and that's why World War Z is such a great audiobook, and it's really the production level. Yeah, it's phenomenal. So yeah, like that's a real thing. That's a real thing.
One of my favorite audiobooks I've ever listened to was World War Z. In fact, I've listened to it like twice because it was so good. That and Ready Player One was really good as an audiobook. If you've never listened to it as an audiobook, it's really good as an audiobook. Yeah. So
thanks. I'll check that out.
The entire Ender's Game series is really good on audio.
Is it? Yeah, I have not listened to any of that.
When I was cramming for my Robert Heinlein retrospect a couple years ago, I listened to I found this really amazing adaptation of Starship Troopers on audiobook, where the guy even did accents and stuff. It came out really good.
Nice.
I love it when you got a good voice actor in there, you know, doing accents, you know, making different sounds for different characters, because it's easier to follow who's who. You know, like my biggest problem with any kind of you know, books and or audiobooks is I'm just horrible with names in general, you know. And so they'll like introduce a character and I'll promptly forget who that character was. And then they'll bring them back, but they, you know, it's like, who is that again? What did they look like? I can't picture them in my head, you know, but yeah, anyway.
I find it especially difficult if it's like a fantasy book and their names are just like random strings of letters.
Yeah.
Word salad.
One of my favorite voice actors when it comes to audiobooks is James Marsters, and he does the Dresden series, and there's one book that he didn't because he couldn't, but it like without him, like there was a significant, the book just wasn't as good, it felt like. And what's his name that writes Dresden, but like the books are great and he writes great books, but like that sometimes those voice actors can really make a book, and James Marsters is phenomenal. So if there's any audiobook that you see that he's doing the reading of, get it, because he'll, like, even if it's crap, he'll make it amazing. So
Lance has me beat.
That's a lot of DVDs.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot of discs.
I thought I had a lot. He's got a lot.
That's a lot of discs.
Yeah.
Oh, so a movie. I should probably talk about a movie at some point. I'm sorry.
Movie.
Movies. We're talking about movies here?
What is movie?
I'm going to go with one of the arguably worst films ever made. And it's Al Adamson's Dracula versus Frankenstein, which I can almost guarantee most of you have not seen. But it's something...
Not even I've seen that one.
There's movies that are so bad they're good. This actually goes all the way around, so it's so bad that it passes, so bad it's good, and goes back to being really dreadful. Where to begin? One thing, according to the lore of the movie, he was actually making a different movie and either got bored or ran out of funding. Initially, it was a movie about youth gangs on the California beach scene. And then he decided to make a movie about Dracula, but incorporated these scenes into the new movie, which makes it all but incoherent. The guy he got to play Dracula, I believe, was his accountant, and looks and acts like it. I mean, apart from the fact that he has these cheesy fangs, and they do like a little twang to his voice, so he sounds like this. But it's horrible. And he teams up with this mad scientist, who I think was like another accountant, who's just this guy in a wheelchair, but he has this like intense sort of, so, Dracula, you've come to me for help now. And the whole thing is he's trying to create Frankenstein so he can go on a quest for revenge. And things do not work out well, but of course, how could they at this point? One thing this movie does have for you Monty Python fans out there, I don't know if any of you guys have heard of Monty Python, but...
It rings a bell.
Yes, of course, yeah.
It sounds familiar. I don't know.
In the climactic battle between Dracula and Frankenstein, I'm not ruining anything because you couldn't ruin this movie. Dracula.
You're saving us from having to watch it, is what you're doing.
Paul, stick with the team. Thank you.
He's been stitched together. So what Dracula does is he grabs his appendages and starts ripping them off and just throwing them into the forest. And you can almost barely see what's going on because they were doing, instead of doing day for night, they did twilight for night. So it's actually getting darker. So it becomes harder to see what's going on. But supposedly, the Monty Python makers thought that was so hilarious that the scene where King Arthur is like cutting limbs off the Dark Knight is borrowed from that.
Oh,
so
no way.
Yeah, so this movie does have something of a critical point in cinematic history, but and technically it does count as a vampire movie. But again, it is
Only a flesh wound.
That always wins.
Black
Are you gonna bleed on me? Sorry, go on.
I went to look up a bunch of screenshots of the movie, and there's a lot of black bars.
Yeah.
Gee.
So it's that kind of movie.
I need to like double check because I'm not like I'm pretty sure this is it. But if there's a lot of black bars, there probably then is a lot of stuff missing from it. But I did find the YouTube at least I did find it on YouTube. Where you can actually watch it if you wanted to. So that's what all those links are, Tug. When you see like I posted it in I posted it in
Twitch,
my Twitch, your channel, and Sarah's. So
Yes, you did. I saw it. Thank you.
yeah.
And why does
So it is
Frankenstein's
there.
monster look like Will Ferrell? Or is that just me?
it's literally a paper mache mask. He's wearing a paper mache mask. Literally.
He looks a little bit like Leatherface or something.
Yeah,
I can see
I
that.
agree.
He just looks poorly drawn, so whatever.
I don't know. It looks like a movie I want to watch. Is that wrong?
It's fun. It's to lampoon it. It's fun to lampoon it, but don't watch it because you're like, this should be good.
No, it's not a movie I would watch by myself.
No, you don't watch The Room because you think it's going to be good. You watch The Room because you need to see The Room.
Is that
You
like
can get the
90 minutes of my life I can't get back? No.
If you use like adult beverages or something like that, it makes it a little bit better. Just
Okay.
try that.
Yeah.
A little tequila with that
There's a
movie.
couple movies out there that's
Right.
the only way to watch
Or,
them.
or some green smoke, something like that. Yeah, you should be okay. You should be like, oh, now I get it. You have to do like this. Then everybody goes, yeah, it's one of those. You're like, got it.
Yeah, Blackula is a better movie. Oh, by the way, I'm looking at the time. I actually have to motor, guys.
Yep.
So
All right.
Yes,
I want to thank you. Hope to catch you all. I'm going to be on Sarah's show tonight, by the way. It'll be simulcast on my channel, but please all come by at 7-ish. Looking forward to seeing you all over there.
Yes, it'll be awesome.
Great one.
Peace.
Yeah.
Okay, so I Am Legend.
Ah,
Gosh.
I
There
was
we
gonna
go.
bring that up.
Good time to bring it up now.
Yes.
Oh, I have to go
I
somewhere
have that
else.
actually queued in my browser right
No,
now.
I'm
so-
kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But no, I actually.
What's that movie? It's so good. What?
I
What's up?
I gotta rewatch it because I enjoyed it when I watched it, but I'll rewatch it for next week's.
I watched it last night. So
What, I Am
Oh, did you?
yeah.
Yeah, I gotta rewatch it so
Eric's
that I can
like,
because I really enjoyed it. No. So Tug likes it. Thrash hates
Thrash
that
can't
movie.
stand it.
So that's why he
have-
brings
I
it
know,
up. Yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
I think the special effects are terrible, but
Yeah,
for
the
most
special
part,
effects
I
are
like
pretty
I would-
bad. They could
I
have
would
done
agree
much
with
better.
that.
I
Much better
don't
than that.
think the ending is good at all. I think they ruined the ending, but the movie itself is fine. I think Will Smith does a really good job.
The alternate ending was better
That'd
than
be
the
Will
ending
Smith, yeah.
that they.
Yeah, but it's
included,
still
yeah.
not the ending of the
Yeah.
story. And
Yeah.
yeah. I
So-
still don't understand how they leave the island. Like, how do they get off Manhattan? The bridges are all gone, and you see them drive away.
you
Like,
just-
what?
How did she get on it in the first place? I mean, they
Yeah,
must have
if
had
you read the
one
book,
bridge.
you would
Yeah.
understand why she's there. You would understand how she got there. But no, they don't go there.
Yeah.
There must have been one bridge, just one,
Yeah.
that they didn't blow up.
But yeah, those aren't really vampires. The only one of those movies that is vampires is the Vincent Price one, the Last Man on Earth. But even they're kind of pseudo zombies. But that's actually not what I wanted to talk about. I was going to talk about Kronos. This is Guillermo del Toro's first movie. Actually, his first big budget movie. This is the movie that got all the attention. It's a vampire movie, but it's a really weird Lovecraftian vampire movie, and it's you got this guy who he was an alchemist in like the 16th century or something. I just watched it and I'm still confused. And he dies in like the 30s because his house collapses on him and he actually gets a stake through the heart from his house. And that he just happens to
invest in steel.
Yeah, really.
House wins.
It's like,
but he had
you're
this.
allergic to wood, you should stay away from it.
He had this weird artifact, which is basically, it kind of looks like a scarab beetle from like Egypt, like a metal scarab beetle, but inside of it is some kind of weird Lovecraftian horror insect that's been alive for centuries upon centuries. And you take this scarab beetle and you stick it on your body, and it'll attack you and it'll attach itself to you. And then you will basically become a vampire. You'll get all the like enhanced powers of a vampire and all the weaknesses as well, including the thirst for blood, which is like the whole thing. And you've got Ron Perlman playing the lackey of a mob boss who's trying to get his hands on this thing. It's very strange. It's like pseudo Yakuza. It feels like Guillermo del Toro was trying to make an anime in a sense. It's very weird. But Ron Perlman, kills his boss because he wants the thing for himself, obviously. And the whole movie just revolves around this old man who's become a young man because he's got the device on him, being chased by Ron Perlman, who wants the device for himself. It's really an interesting vampire. It's an interesting take on a vampire story, and it deals with a lot of psychological horror and a lot of like cosmic, unknowable horror. It's only Guillermo del Toro can do. So yeah, I had a choice. If we're talking about Guillermo del Toro vampire movies, I could either talk about this or I could talk about Blade 2. I chose this because I think it's more interesting.
Yeah, I saw all the Blades and I don't remember any of them. It's been a while.
Well, Blade 2 is the Guillermo del Toro one. It is the best one.
When did it come out?
All I know is that
Did we talk about Blade
I
yet?
saw it.
No,
We
I don't
haven't
think we've
talked about
talked about Blade yet.
Okay, yeah, I was like, y'all are like jumping on like some of like the list.
Like,
before.
we can,
But,
I was like, oh wait.
I did like Blade
Okay.
overall. I did. It's just it's been so long since I've seen them. I don't remember them. I should watch them again.
But anyway, Kronos. Anybody who likes Guillermo del Toro, and Guillermo I'm going to stop trying to say his name. Del Toro. He does vampires a lot. He did The Strain. He did, Blade 2. He's got that style. You understand it. He's even got, I think there's even a vampire in the Hellboy movies. I'm not sure. But yeah, if you're a fan of Guillermo del Toro, you should totally watch it.
Yeah.
If for no other reason than to get an understanding of where he started. This was before Pan's Labyrinth, okay? This is way back.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think it was like 93.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, 92.
92. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Sounds familiar.
it's available on Max if you have. I hate calling
That's
it
where I
Max.
watched it.
I was in elementary school in '92.
Yeah, if you
I'd
if
seen
you
it
have
before, but it had been a long time, so I had to watch it again
Yeah.
a couple days ago.
if you
I was out of
have
college
if you
by
have Max or what used to be called HBO and then HBO Max, and then we're just gonna get rid of our entire brand anyways and just come up with something totally. Anyways, but it's available and it's free and you can watch it there. And I definitely, it's one I haven't seen it, and so it's one that I definitely want to add to my list and watch. I already added it to my list, and so
You don't
I'll
need
be
me to
watching
tell
that
you,
one.
but Ron Perlman makes the movie totally worth watching. He is the best thing about it. He's fantastic.
He's the best thing
always
about a
loved
lot of
him.
movies. So
Yeah.
and he's an exceptional person. Just I love
Oh, yeah.
following him on social media and stuff like that. And like whether you agree with him politically or not, just the fact that the way that he's like says things, you're like, I get it. I get it. Like, he's awesome. He's wonderful.
So he's the
He
opposite of
amuses
Tom
me,
Cruise.
and spoiler alert, I
Yeah.
do not agree with him politically, but I think I think he has a way with words.
Yes.
Word.
Isn't that an NPR
Yeah,
show?
he does it. Yeah. And so, but he's awesome. He's awesome. So,
So I take it I'm the only one who's seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I think I've seen it, but it was many,
long
many
time ago.
sons
Yeah.
came and left. Lots of water under the bridge, but it sounds familiar.
Waysides and all that.
And you're right, Indy. It does have some pacing issues, especially towards the middle. It drags a bit, but I think it's a good movie. I like it. So, Sarah, what you got?
Well, you know, Sesame Street has the Count. He's pretty
Oh
epic.
God, yeah. Ooh,
But he counts to get his fix. He doesn't like suck people's blood. So
Not that you know of.
Well,
Well,
no,
that's
they never
true.
really, they
That's
never
true.
really said how he stays alive, unless his counting is the way he stays alive, because
It
that's
must be.
weird.
well, you know,
Count one,
there's always,
nah.
there's
Yeah.
always Count
I mean, he's out during the
Chocula.
daytime. I mean, maybe he's just dressed up like a vampire. Right?
Well, I don't know. He was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, there's that.
Mhm.
Some other stuff. I
just remember
watched
when,
those things, and then you said the other ones. So
when he got bitten
thing.
by the Cookie Monster, and then he started like craving cookies. It was really funny.
Yeah.
Like Cookie Monster
I-
turned him
The
into.
Cookie
kinda
Monster is
think-
the true vampire here.
No, I really think Cookie Monster is really a zombie though, because he has the one track mind brains is Cookie, right?
Yeah,
And he just
yeah.
wants Cookie. So then he bites the vampire. Then the vampire wants Cookie. So vampires are affected by zombies as well.
Okay, weird anecdote about Cookie Monster. At my son's school, you cannot have any Cookie Monster paraphernalia. Period.
Yeah, because you don't want people to get diabetes from looking at Cookie Monster.
It's not about that. It's actually about
Oh.
like it has something to do with getting cookies at a dispensary. Like they think it's a weed
Oh
thing.
no!
What?
I don't even get that connection
Oh,
at
okay.
all. Like I'm like,
So
what?
what?
Cookie Monster's not eating weed cookies. He's eating regular cookies.
First
Huh?
off,
Like I just
nobody gives
mentioned.
out weed cookies for free. They just don't. Okay.
No, they're
There's
not
never
free.
a trick or treat
No.
that I go to anybody's house who I know any of that goes, oh, I made a fish thing of weed cookies for you children. No,
Yeah.
no, it's expensive.
Too
No.
expensive.
right,
Yeah, but
like,
no.
hey, here's this thing that I could make like hundreds of thousands of, like thousands of dollars with, right? And you know what? Instead of like just basic logic, instead like. You have like an entire industry of pharmaceuticals. Like they could give away those for free, and are like, let's be
Just
honest.
ask
There's
for
a number.
children.
There's lots of people in our government theoretically who would love for all of it to be given out to Americans for free, so that we could be healthy. Which, hey, not a bad idea. But you know what? They're not going to do that. Why? Because of profit. So if a drug company isn't going to do that, why do you think a drug company will? Right, because they're both like, let's talk about it from chemistry perspectives, like because there are some that we identify as illicit drugs that actually have therapeutic and beneficial uses. So they are like, so if one drug company won't give it away for free, why would you think that another one would? It makes no sense. So anyway, sorry. And so here, yeah, like the whole Cookie Monster, because again, it's just the rampant stupidity that we've ran into.
I
Well,
mean,
all I
did
can
the
say
Cookie
is
Monster
this
go
to that,
like weed
because
cookies?
Oh,
My
I'm sorry,
apologies.
Sarah.
My apologies. I just
No, but you know what? Like I
that's
said, there's
insane,
always
Eric. That's insane, Tug. I'm sorry.
no, you're cool. And I'm just saying, like there's Count Chocula and Frankenberry. Those kind of
I know,
right?
offer up interesting thoughts.
Right,
Take them to a
And-
different level.
right. And that's the thing of it is the world is crazy, and I'm sorry about that. I didn't do it. I didn't do
Me
it. It
either.
wasn't me.
It's like
That's me.
I worked at a statutory law publishing company, so I used to get very familiar with like obscure statutory laws from around the country, and there are some weird laws on the books that are about
yeah.
as logical as the Cookie Monster ban.
Right? I can say some of them, but that's not appropriate for this show.
Yeah.
Well, no. I remember reading about like there was a law in Kentucky that it was illegal to have cherry pie a la mode, like that was written into their law, like and so like like that's only for Apple, right? And again, like it's this bizarreness of again, like we get into like I was talking about earlier, like when we get into discussions about people's opinions about what they like, right? You know, and like I like this movie and I don't or whatever, and who's right and why what does it matter? Why does anyone have to like? Why do I feel like I need to make Sarah like anything that I like when she doesn't?
Harold's having an
She has the right.
crisis.
I know. I just like no. It's a bigger stupidity that we just fall into, and it leads to this stuff. I prefer it this way, so therefore I need to make everybody else agree with me because I'm too insecure to be okay
It's my
with
way,
my
the
own
highway.
opinion. Right. I'm too insecure to be okay with my own opinion, so therefore I need the reinforcement of others or I need others to live like I do to justify the choices that I make because I'm not secure enough in myself. So if you won't do that because I tell you to, I'm going to force you to through law. It's just stupid.
Right.
Legislating morality always works.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway,
Well,
sorry.
Mr. H.
It's for the greater
Sorry.
good, I swear.
No, I think we're gonna stop here because, yeah, like I said, I did not get enough sleep,
Okay.
and we're almost at an hour and a half anyway.
Mhm.
Awesome.
So I don't know what's on the docket for next week. I kind of wanted to talk about Stephen King movies,
Okay.
but if you had any vampire movies you really, really want to talk about, now would be the time to mention it. So.
Okay.
I'm good.
So the next one I was going to bring up was, I was going to talk about Once Bitten because the Jim Carrey movie.
It's been
I
coming
saw
up
that
in the
was
comments a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so that one was on my list. And the other one, if you haven't seen it, go see it. I had it up to where you could watch it, but it's the only lovers left alive. It's free on Pluto TV. It has Tilda Swinton, Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston is a vampire who's despondent. Oh, it also has Anton Yelchin, John Hurt, Mia Wachowski, Jeffrey Wright. It is very artistic and it is very psychological because you have a vampire who is becoming despondent and wants to take the how did he phrase it? The Judas option. I got to get Trash to
Yeah, that's what he said.
Oh, is it the Judas option? And he wants to take the Judas option, and so Tilda Swinton comes in to talk to him because again he's lived so long, he's done so much, and it's the repetitiveness, right? And so this if we lived immortally, eventually would we wish to be able to end right, because of the monotony, the boredom. There's nothing that gives us pleasure anymore because we've already done it all, right, kind of thing. And it just becomes, if we do something too much, we get bored of it, right? And same thing with life. And so then Blade and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's it.
Yeah, I was going to bring up the Blade franchise and the Underworld franchise, even though
Oh,
they're
yeah,
not really
yeah,
great movies, but they are.
I almost mentioned Underworld
action-packed.
just because Kate Beckinsale came up earlier. Yeah.
They are good.
They're not
early
they're not,
2000s action movies.
They are-
I like
lots, lots of swordplay, lots of high kicks and so on and so forth. Yeah,
And there's
they're
Dust
good.
Dawn.
Yeah, and
yeah,
then
we talked about that.
yeah.
and then of course I Am Legend, but that's because it may not be a real vampire movie, but they are kind of sort of vampires.
They're vampires in the
Hey.
book.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Just
Anyway,
down,
But-
of course.
and I had a
and-
whole list of other movies, but I can't find my list at this point, so I don't know.
Okay, the only one you haven't mentioned on my list is Life Force. I was going to talk about Life Force.
Oh yeah, that was one of them. Yep, it's a good one.
Oh,
There was a
you know
big
what,
debate
you're
in the
right.
chat last week about whether or not that actually counts as a vampire movie. I say it does. I don't care what you think.
There's
That's the sci-fi one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Only
yeah,
the-
I had brought
Right.
that up because in the first week, one of the people in my Twitch channel brought up hey, are there any sci-fi vampire movies. So I brought up Life Force and a couple others or whatever. But like,
Daybreakers also
yeah, Daybreakers would be another one. But yeah. So that was no, definitely, and also it's free streaming somewhere. I can't remember offhand, but I mentioned that in my Twitch chat.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just vampires without the biting. They just suck your energy, you know.
I know people like that.
Yes, based on the novel
In my
The Space
personal
Vampires.
life.
I had a choose your own adventure called Space Vampires, which I really enjoyed when I was like 10.
Ah. I do like choose your own adventure stuff though. That's pretty cool. It
Those
doesn't
are
really
cool.
translate that well to like TV and movies though, but it's really good for books.
Hmm.
No, I love choose your own adventure. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I miss them a lot.
My brother, we were kids, he used to read them all the time, and since obviously I went over the fact that I don't read, he would read them to me sometimes, and I'd be like, "That's so cool." I never finished any of those books because brothers, but whatever. It was cool and lasted. Hi, Kevin.
And speaking of choose your own adventure, one of the beautiful things that they're doing right now is on Netflix. You have choose your own adventure shows where you get to make the choices and stuff like that. Yeah.
Is it Bandersnatch or whatever?
Well, actually, like with a whole bunch of them, like Bear Grylls has one. Puss in Boots. Well, no, like you make the choice of what you're going to do and will you survive or not? Like, what are the consequences? Things like that, cool. Right? And it's very that one is very choose your own event. My girls love those, and they will sit there and they'll watch it. They'll watch it like 4 or 5 times, like just trying to all the different options, right? And stuff like that. And so, like having those things and seeing in it is really brilliant because your viewership actually goes up. Because of the fact that you're getting because of the rewatchability of it, and so it's a genius marketing ploy. Because again, like you're getting these kids because they want to see all the options, almost like a video game, right? That have replayability in those choices.
Oh yeah,
like you'll play it over and over and over, even though it's one story. Because there's so many possibilities, you'll play it over again, and then. Twitch streamers will, or Twitch, YouTube, whatever streamers will put it out there, and it'll get people interested because they want to make their own choices. Like it's a great marketing tool. So again, companies look into that. It's a great option. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And since we're wrapping up, I'm going to go ahead just for anybody for those on my Twitch channel. I'm going to be raiding out for y'all. So.
Okay, and on my channel, on my YouTube channel, in about half an hour, I'm dropping my. I'm doing another one of those putting a movie on trial things. Even though the first one tanked on the algorithm, and this one probably will tank too. I don't care.
It was so good though. I don't understand that at all.
I'm dropping another one in half an hour, and please watch it. Please show the algorithm that it doesn't control me.
Screw you, algorithm.
Well, listen, the algorithm are at odds, so I don't think I'm going to be much help. I algorithm everybody, but it doesn't help.
Whereas my bias on the first one was very apparent that I was in favor of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. This one's a little more even-handed because I don't know exactly how I feel, and that is Friday the 13th, Part 5.
Wow.
So
that many.
Okay.
So it's interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Thank you, Vim. And other than that, just catch me on Harold's streams on his Twitch channel, Tuesday nights and Saturday nights, where we kill zombies. We just went through one of the 7 Days to Die, and it was brutal. Kind of interesting because the lag was so intense that I was just circling this giant horde from World War Z of zombies. I was just going in a big circle with a stick, just hitting them.
Yeah, it was
It was madness.
Yeah, I got up. I got up to 100 deaths on that.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
insane.
yeah. It was.
I don't know what kind of settings Harold's put on this thing, but it's ridiculous.
It's so funny if you go and you watch it. It's so funny because like at one point I get up on this like perch to be able to like snipe, and like you see Tug going around and this mass of like, some of them are radioactive, some of like, and it's just like they're just chasing him. He's like, get away from me. And it's just,
Oh, funny.
it's so hilarious. It's so, and then afterwards we go through and we try to see like, okay, how did our base turn out? And like some of them look like M.C. Escher like paintings or Picasso paintings. Like they get so smashed up, and it's great.
It's a lot of fun. So yeah,
It
just
is.
check it out. And other than that, I'm done. Does anybody else have anything to plug?
Yeah, I
mean,
do,
I
of
know
course.
Sarah, you got your thing tonight.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So tonight, upon the day, and I will be doing the show on werewolves. Ooh. So that'll be epic. I made a song for it, of course, so that'll be good for you guys to see if you guys haven't seen it already. And also Thursdays and then Saturdays as well. Then repeat the cycle. You know, it's the thing I do. So I just find me. I'm usually doing something.
Oh,
What about you, Tracy?
okay. I'm doing the live tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So come join if you have any ideas about anything about old time. Come see me. Check me out.
I must admit, I enjoy when you go live. I really do.
Me?
Yes, you. You're talking. You're saying you're going live. Yes, you, Tracy. I enjoy you.
Thank
woman.
you. I'm like,
No,
who, me?
Yeah,
I'm looking
you,
around
but-
seeing if there's anybody else here.
No, it's you. Because
Thank
like
you.
you talk about the genres and stuff that I'm not as familiar with. Right? I mean, like I'm one of the oldest ones around here. I'm 82, right? So there you go. Right. So my knowledge of the older stuff is through my mom, and she's only 70 now. So there you go.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
my
she's
point
still a
being is
youngster.
like So you
Well,
have
compared to a 114-year-old Thrash, we're all young.
Well, yeah,
Well, yeah,
exactly.
I'm not that
He's
far off
Father Tom.
probably from her mom.
Right, yeah. So yeah, no, enjoy it. It's always fun. It's interesting. I learn something. Yeah, I do. I
Thank
learn.
you.
It's crazy. I know.
I know I'm still kind of new. I still have my hinks and dinks, but that's what you have to do.
Everybody
just
starts out
pick
as a
up
white
bike.
belt.
Yep.
Yeah, can you believe even I started out all super spazzy? I mean, not that it's much to
Spinning knees
prove,
left and
but
right.
well, if you ever need any help with anything, technical wise, I'll do what I can for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Family and all that.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, Harold, do you have anything else you want to plug? Like,
yeah. So if you go to my Discord, I've got my schedule. I always put it up, and then I've got it set up so that when you look at the schedule to show you what time it is based on your. Oh, okay, yeah, good point.
That'd be
when
helpful.
yeah, it would. But like if you it shows the times based on your time zone, so that way it's super easy for you to be able to check it out. And then I might have a surprise stream today, or not. I'm probably going to also be or I'm going to be in y'all's stream at 4:30. So, and then Tuesdays and Saturdays we do 7 Days to Die. Thursdays and Fridays I do Baldur's Gate 3 with a friend Anomaly, where you guys choose for us, and then on Fridays with my wife where we role play it. And then during the daytimes, like when I like organize my patients so that there's none on so that they're on singular days, the days that I'm not working, I'll do the vampire stream during the daytime, and so that's always
cool.
fun. And then here
Nice.
I will post my Discord.
Bertha did it for you.
Well, it's not in my chat, so you struggle.
Yeah, no. That's on my Twitch. It doesn't show it on. So here, I will put that in both of y'all's.
So cool.
Awesome.
All right. Here we go. Sorry. There we go. And there you go. All right.
Based.
Okay.
I'm joining.
Sorry. All right. So yeah, there's my Discord. Feel free to hop in and do those links. I post in there. We make a community. We try it. Like I'm going to be working on doing some community events in there and all kinds of fun stuff, and you know, a whole bunch of different fun things, like things where like people that are like subscribed to my Twitch that will be able to do gaming together. And
There it is. I'm in there.
Yep, that's right. So yeah, so if you go into the schedule and you look, it'll show like, you know, what your time is based on where you live in your time zone. So because I have people that follow me in Europe and stuff like that, and so
Wow.
that way it's
I'm in
easier for them
California.
to
I'm always
follow.
in the past, so
Yeah,
Right.
well,
Yeah,
I'm on
same.
East-
Yeah, I'm West Coast. Yeah, so it's easier than saying, you know, 10 p.m. Eastern, you know, 7 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah,
And then like having people in Australia and Europe trying to figure that out. So
yeah.
do the math.
yeah, time zones are lame.
Yeah, I have a
Not a
friend in
fan of
Australia.
numbers.
13
Numbers
hours
are-
ahead.
Numbers are
No,
crazy.
I know. Like some of my friends that are in Australia, I'm like, okay, I know they're 15 hours. Now I have to do the math. Or in
Yeah,
like, my
when
friends in
people go,
England,
"It's
I know
Zulu
they're
time,"
8.
I'm like,
or,
Yeah, yeah.
Zulu. I thought he was an
Yeah.
African warrior. What? I don't know.
Yeah,
Time?
I've got a friend-
Is it wartime? Anyway,
I've
so I
got
don't want to
I've
do
got
that.
a friend in Croatia that's 9 hours ahead of me. So now I'm having to do all the maths, and I'm like, nope, just do this, and then that way it's all.
I
set.
do a podcast with Lynn, and he's down in Australia, and trying to find the time to do our podcast is so complicated.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
Apollo.
yeah. My friend in
yeah,
Adelaide.
yeah. 13 to 15
Australia,
hours. Yeah,
Like,
It's 15 hours where he is,
ahead.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they've got these weird time zones. I think they got 3 of them, and one is on the half hours. You know,
Yeah.
there's
Yes.
like a half hour interval. That really throws the boomerang, so to speak.
All right, time zones. Who needs them?
But
yeah.
anyway,
No. Just like the Newfies or whatever. Like they wanted to like. So okay, you're gonna be an hour. Nope, we're gonna be a half hour ahead. What? What?
What? They're newfies. They have to.
Right?
gotta
They
be
have to
weird.
do it weird. I know they have to be
That's what's-
weird.
If you'd ever met my grandfather, you'd know. You would just
Aw.
Oh, is he a Newfie?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize
So
that. That's
I guess
awesome.
I'm quarter newfie then. You know.
There you go. Right?
So-
Because they're not really Canadian. It's like Quebec is not like really Canadian
They're
either.
that
So.
little
Well, they
island
wanna
that just
get
sits
away.
out there. They're not really Canadians now. They're newfies.
Right. They're their own
Okay.
things, right?
okay.
Quebec wants to get themselves away from there.
So until next time, never be ashamed of what you love, as long as you're not hurting anybody.
Unless it's feet.
And
Thank you and good night.